Okay. Good afternoon, and thanks for being here today. Today in the House, I will be tabling a piece of legislation called an act to amend the Labour Relations Act to protect the rights of employees in collective bargaining and the financial interests of members of trade unions. And I'll start by saying a short prepared statement on this bill. In the presence of water and oxygen, iron becomes rust. In the presence of restricted labor policies and monopolies, a robust manufacturing economy can soon become a rust belt. Since 2003, Liberal Ontario has embraced restrictive labor legislation such as the College of Trades, card-based certification, and expanded mandatory WSIB programs, all at the behest of the unions that put them in power. And real per capita GDP and the productive capacity of Ontario workers has increased by a paltry 0.86%. In those same 9 years, over 300,000 manufacturing jobs have left Ontario, many going to jurisdictions like Alberta and the U.S. states. It's no coincidence that these states and provinces that are growing have less restrictive labor legislation and more choice for workers. Unlike in Ontario, workers in these jurisdictions have the right to choose what union they want to belong to or whether they want to be a member of a union at all. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor, from 1997 to 2007, job growth in right-to-work states were double that of the restricted states, and GDP growth was 25% higher. We can stand by and do nothing as our economy and our jobs rust away, or we can take action. That is why I'm tabling this legislation today, to bring workers' choice to Ontario. The bill will end coercive labor monopolies and mandatory unionism. It will restore workers' choice by eliminating the security clause from all collective bargaining agreements and by letting individuals opt out of bargaining units. This bill will protect a worker's paycheck from arbitrary union dues used for non-collective bargaining purposes. This bill will also protect a worker's political and social views by requiring unions to disclose their financial transactions. It will also allow parties of a collective agreement to terminate that agreement on consent. I know that when we pass this legislation, Ontario will become a have province once again and the economic engine of Canada once again. Thank you very much. I'd like to turn the microphone over to Frank Viti, Chairman of Merit Open Shop Contractors in Ontario. Thank you.
Thanks, Randy. We're delighted to be here to support your Workers' Choice Initiative. We're delighted to be part of your team and to be supporting a bill that does three fundamental things. Options for workers in this province around unionization, financial disclosure for unions, as well as some really important supplementary items. We at Merit Ontario, the whole merit movement in Canada, the whole merit movement in the United States, we have been advocating these principles since 1950. And in 1950, 7 open shop contractors came together and said, we are going to end the harassment, we're going to end compulsory certification, compulsory unionization, and they started the movement, the merit movement, that believes so strongly in your core principles that are contained in this bill. The whole idea of a worker having the right and full rights and full dignity around where they work and their employer and how they're treated is a core principle of the whole merit movement. And we fight every day. We fight very hard for our employees. The merit shop employees right across this country and this continent are treated with the highest respect and dignity. And they, as an open shop employer and a member of that open shop movement, have choice. And they have a choice in terms of health benefits that are at par or better than any other program in the country or on the continent. They have options around their pension program and safety training. And we do everything we can to honor those employees and their choices that they make. Hence our support for this bill today. We are going to work very hard to work with each and every member of Parliament provincial parliament to ensure that they understand how important this bill is, how important it is for workers to have those options and those choices. It just reaffirms our core principles that we've advocated for 60 plus years, and you can count on the Merit Open Shop movement to support you every step of the way.
Thank you very much. Maybe we'll have Walter Pamic from the Ontario Electrical League as well.
Thank you very much, Randy. I'd like to speak to you very briefly and to echo the comments that my two friends here have made. Freedom is a fundamental right and a cornerstone to our democracy, and freedom in the workplace is no difference whatsoever. We have long championed the rights of individuals to associate or not to associate with any organization. The same should be true and must be true in our workplace. There is absolutely no reason why we continue in this province and in this country to have mandatory membership in an organization that people do not wish to be in as legislation. And we encourage the support of every other caucus member in this party and in the legislature. We'd like you to stand behind this and to finally bring democracy to the workplace in Ontario. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just end off by saying in an hour or two I'll be tabling this legislation, and it should be evident to everyone that in order to achieve prosperity, we must have freedom. There is no other way to achieve prosperity than freedom. And this bill will bring freedom into the workplace, freedom of choice, freedom for workers to be prosperous once again, and we will start re-industrializing Ontario and return this province to its rightful place as the economic engine of Canada. Thank you.